All right, so get the listeners, you ready for today's deep dive?
I'm ready.
Okay, buckle up. Because we are heading straight into what sounds like, a real-life treasure map. We're talking about gold.
Ooh, gold.
Gold discovered in Pakistan.
Right.
And we're not talking about like a little bit here and there.
Right.
We are talking about a potential 32.6 metric tons of gold deposit.
It's pretty incredible.
Wow.
We're looking at like early estimations of a value around 600 billion.
Yeah, 600 billion.
Yeah, to put that in perspective.
Give it to me.
That's roughly 7% of Pakistan's entire GDP.
Whoa. Okay, so not your average lucky strike then.
No, not at all.
So we're working from a news piece from Leave Mint.
Okay.
And they're pulling from the Times of India and some Pakistani media sources as well.
Okay.
What I find fascinating is that this isn't about some lost city of gold.
Right.
It's the Indus River itself.
So we're talking about a natural process here.
Okay.
The fast-flowing waters of the Indus carry tiny gold particles eroded from the Himalayas over probably millennia. And these particles eventually settle and concentrate along certain stretches of the riverbed.
So like panning for gold, but on a massive geological scale?
Exactly. And the report highlights a specific 32-kilometer stretch near Attock in Punjab province that's particularly rich in these deposits.
And that's where things get really interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not just talking about a cool natural phenomenon.
Right.
We're talking about a potential economic game changer for Pakistan.
Absolutely.
So huge implications.
Yeah, it's still early.
Sure.
But this kind of discovery could have a significant impact. Think about it. Increased government revenue potential for reducing national debt, job creation, particularly in a region like Attock.
Okay, so a lot to unpack there.
There is a lot to unpack.
Let's start with the debt. The source mentioned that this discovery could help Pakistan clear its national debt.
Okay.
Is that really possible?
It's certainly a bold statement.
Right.
And we need to be cautious about jumping to conclusions. However, to give you an idea, Pakistan's public debt is somewhere around $270 billion.
Okay.
While $600 billion is a significant sum converting it to dollars at the current exchange rate, it's still a fraction of the total debt.
So maybe not a complete debt eraser,
Yeah.
but still a huge chunk of change.
Exactly. And even if it doesn't completely wipe out the debt, imagine the possibilities if even a portion of that revenue were carefully invested in things like infrastructure projects, education, or healthcare.
Right.
It could be transformative for Pakistan.
Okay, so potential debt reduction is a big one.
Huge.
But what about the everyday people in Pakistan? How could this discovery impact their lives?
Well, think about the potential for job creation, especially in the Attock region.
Yeah.
This could be a significant boost for the local economy.
Right.
And with the right planning, there's potential for new industries to spring up around this discovery.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, are there downsides to a discovery like this? The article did mention something about illegal gold extraction and the government trying to regulate it.
You've hit on a critical point.
Okay.
The source mentioned something called Section 144 being enforced.
Section 144.
This is essentially a legal provision in Pakistan that allows the government to prohibit certain activities in a specific area.
Okay.
In this case, they're using it to try to prevent uncontrolled illegal mining.
So a sort of gold rush mentality they're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Because uncontrolled mining can lead to all sorts of problems, right?
Absolutely. Environmental damage is a huge concern. The Indus River is a vital resource for the entire region, and irresponsible mining practices could have devastating consequences for the ecosystem, water quality, and even agriculture.
Yeah, makes sense.
There's also the risk of exploitation of workers and communities.
So responsible management is key here.
Yes.
It sounds like Pakistan is facing a real balancing act with this discovery.
Exactly. There's incredible potential for positive change, but also significant risks if it's not managed carefully. And that brings us to another crucial aspect, ensuring the benefits of this discovery reach the people of Pakistan in a fair and equitable way.
Which is a whole other deep dive waiting to happen.
It is.
But we'll get to that in a bit. First, let's take a closer look at the potential environmental challenges involved in extracting this gold.
All right, so let's picture the Indus River.
Okay.
It's not just any river.
Right.
It's a lifeline for Pakistan,
Right.
flowing through the entire country.
Yeah.
So what kinds of environmental risks are we talking about when it comes to extracting gold on this scale?
Yeah. What are we talking about here?
Well, you have to understand that gold extraction, especially alluvial mining, which is what we're likely talking about here,
Okay.
can be very disruptive.
Okay.
It often involves dredging the riverbed, which can destroy habitats for fish, and other aquatic life.
So the very act of pulling up the gold could disrupt this entire ecosystem.
Exactly. And then there's the issue of sediment.
Okay.
Dredging stirs up massive amounts of sediment, which can cloud the water, impacting everything from oxygen levels to sunlight penetration.
Wow.
This can harm fish populations, disrupt plant life, and even affect downstream communities that rely on the river for drinking water and irrigation.
And I imagine those communities would be especially vulnerable if there's a sudden influx of people looking to get rich quick.
You're right that the potential for a gold rush mentality is a real concern.
Right.
Uncontrolled mining could lead to widespread environmental damage as people prioritize quick profits over long-term sustainability.
So it's not just about the extraction methods themselves, but about how everything is managed and regulated.
Precisely. And this is where Pakistan has a real opportunity.
Okay.
They can learn from the mistakes of other countries that have experienced gold rushes
Right.
and put in place strong environmental regulations, robust monitoring systems, and strict penalties for illegal mining.
But regulations are only effective if they're enforced, right?
Yes.
The source mentioned the government's efforts to prevent illegal mining, but how can they actually ensure that this happens on the ground?
That's a crucial question.
Yeah.
And it's not a simple answer.
Sure.
It requires a multifaceted approach involving a strong legal framework, adequate resources for enforcement agencies, and perhaps most importantly, community engagement.
Community engagement.
Yes.
How does that fit into the picture?
Well, the people living in these areas are the ones who will be most directly impacted by this discovery.
Of course.
Engaging them in the decision-making process, educating them about responsible mining practices, and even empowering them to monitor activities in their own communities can be a powerful tool in preventing environmental damage and exploitation.
So it's about creating a sense of ownership and responsibility rather than just imposing regulations from the top down.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that protecting the environment and ensuring sustainable development is not just the government's job.
Right.
It's everyone's responsibility.
This is reminding me of those stories you hear about communities successfully managing their own natural resources.
Absolutely. There are countless examples around the world of indigenous communities who have been stewards of their lands and waters for generations.
Wow.
They have a deep understanding of the delicate balance of their ecosystems and have developed sustainable practices that ensure the well-being of both their people and the environment.
So there's a lot that Pakistan can learn from these communities.
Without a doubt, and beyond community engagement, there's also the technological aspect.
Oh, okay.
Investing in modern, less destructive mining techniques can significantly reduce environmental impact.
Okay.
There are methods that minimize dredging, reduce water usage, and even utilize techniques to reclaim and rehabilitate mined areas.
So even if the gold is extracted, the land can be restored.
To a certain extent, yes, of course, the goal should always be to minimize disturbance in the first place. But with careful planning and the right technology, it's possible to extract resources in a way that's less damaging to the environment and allows for rehabilitation afterwards.
Okay, so we've talked about the environmental risks and the importance of responsible management, community engagement, and technology, but let's circle back to the economic potential of this discovery.
Okay.
You mentioned the potential for job creation earlier. Could this discovery lead to a whole new industry in Pakistan?
It certainly has that potential, and it's not just about mining jobs themselves. Think about the support industries that could spring up around it, refining, processing, transportation, security. All of these sectors would see a boost.
Right.
And then there's the downstream potential manufacturing jewelry, utilizing gold and technology, even attracting foreign investment.
So the ripple effects could go far beyond just digging up the gold.
Exactly. And with the right investments, this discovery could help Pakistan diversify its economy, create a more skilled workforce, and even position itself as a major player in the global gold market.
But of course, all of this is dependent on responsible management and equitable distribution of the benefits we've already talked about, the importance of engaging local communities. But what about the bigger picture? How can Pakistan ensure that the wealth generated from this discovery benefits the entire country and not just a select few?
That's the key question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about using this newfound wealth to invest in things that benefit everyone. Education, healthcare infrastructure, renewable energy.
And this brings us back to the issue of transparency and accountability. How can the people of Pakistan be assured that this wealth is being managed responsibly and that they're seeing the benefits?
Transparency is absolutely crucial. It comes down to open communication, clear accounting, and mechanisms for public oversight.
Yeah, I like that.
Think independent audits, community consultations, even citizen-led monitoring initiatives. It's about empowering people to hold their leaders accountable.
So it's not just about the government saying, trust us.
Right.
It's about showing the people exactly how this wealth is being used.
Precisely. And this is where technology can play a role as well.
Okay, how so?
Imagine an online platform where citizens can track revenue streams, see where investments are being made, and even provide feedback on proposed projects.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That would be a game changer in terms of transparency.
Absolutely.
Almost like a real-time goal tracker, but for the benefit of the entire nation.
Exactly. And it's not just about preventing corruption. It's about building trust, fostering a sense of ownership, and ensuring that this discovery truly translates into lasting prosperity for all Pakistanis.
So we've covered a lot of ground here: the potential economic benefits, the environmental risks, the importance of responsible management, community engagement, and transparency.
A lot.
It's a complex situation with a lot of moving parts.
It really is, and it highlights the fact that resource management is never just about the resource itself. It's about people, it's about the environment, it's about governance, it's about making choices that benefit both present and future generations.
And sometimes it's about facing those choices in the wake of an unexpected discovery,
Yeah.
like a massive gold deposit hidden in plain sight.
It's a reminder that the world is full of surprises, and this particular surprise has the potential to be a real turning point for Pakistan.
A turning point for the better, hopefully, but as we've discussed, it all depends on the choices they make moving forward.
It's a reminder that real wealth isn't just about how much gold you have, it's about how you use it.
I like that.
It's about building a society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, where the environment is protected, and where the benefits of progress are shared equitably.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the key takeaway for our listener?
I think it's this: the discovery of gold in Pakistan is more than just a news story. It's a microcosm of the larger challenges and opportunities we face as a global society when it comes to resource management, sustainable development, and social equity. It's a reminder that even something as seemingly simple as gold can raise complex questions about who benefits, who bears the costs, and what kind of future we're building.
It's a reminder that real treasure isn't just about what we extract from the earth, but about the choices we make and the values we prioritize. And those are questions we all need to be thinking about no matter where we live or what resources our countries possess.
So stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, the most valuable discoveries are often the ones that challenge us to think differently and to strive for a better future for everyone.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Pakistan's golden opportunity. Thanks for joining us.